Hello, today we're going to be looking at the electoral map based on the current polling averages on 538.com. Today is July 28th, 2020, and there's less than 100 days now till Election Day. It's getting closer and closer. So let's look at the polls and see what is supposed to happen so far. This is nationally. Biden's ahead by 8.2%. Not surprising. I think Hillary won it by 3%. She won the popular vote by around 3%. I believe so. I know she won it by over 3 million votes. But she lost because she didn't get enough votes. She didn't get more votes than Trump in a few states that could have easily won her the election. She did not pay attention in the Rust Belt like Biden is doing now. So if Biden's making an appearance, which he has been doing less lately, it's going to be in the Rust Belt, which is something he needs for victory. He only needs to flip those 3 states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. He can also flip any 3 states, and just Florida, he'll take it. He can flip Florida and Arizona, which are both polling for Biden. Everything's polling for Biden right now. Except for maybe Ohio. I think today, a ton of new polls came out today, so that's why we're doing this now. Almost a poll for almost every single battleground state came out, so that's why we're looking at what it's gonna look like. Today, Alabama ahead by Trump ahead by 16.4%, which, yeah. So that would make Alabama a safe state. Oh, by the way, I am making these characteristics like this is the solid color, the solid red on Wyoming right now. That is safe. That is 10 points or above. That is my classification. Likely states are 6.5 points or above. 6.5 points to 9.9 points. This one is anywhere from 3 to 6.4 points. That's lean. And I don't do the tilt states because lean literally is tilt. I need to clarify that right now. So Alaska, Trump +1 on the last poll. And then he +3. I'm pretty sure there was one where he was +2, but I don't see that anywhere. August, it's kind of different here. Buttigieg, Warren, and Harris were Democratic candidates. Harris might actually be the VP. I don't know yet. But it was polling well for Biden. No, well for Trump. The same margins as it was for Trump in 2016, 14.7 points. That's how he won it. Buttigieg probably would have been as good as Hillary Clinton because he was polling pretty similar. Then again, this is a C+ poll, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty accurate in 2016. But you see how Sanders and Biden, the top Democratic picks, automatically narrows it down by 6 to 7 points immediately. It's that easy. But you can see how Biden's more of a conservative Democrat, like moderate Democrat, like kind of in the middle, leaning towards more independent instead of liberal. See here, he's doing the best out of all the candidates here. That could be an easy reason of why the Democrats picked him to be the nominee. But yeah, see, it was the same people. Yeah, it's the same people, the same amount of people. All of them are the same people. I said that like 3 times now. 321. You can very well assume that these were the same people saying that they would rather vote for Biden instead of Trump over Buttigieg. They would vote for Biden over Trump, but Trump over Buttigieg, Trump over Warren, Trump over Harris. Sanders, I don't know how he got that close. Maybe just because he was a top Democrat. I think everyone assumed he would get the nomination until Biden won Super Tuesday by a very large amount. But that's what It's looking like now it's looking 5, 3, and 1 for all the polls with Biden. It just keeps narrowing up by 2%. And if we could see that, what happened one more time, Biden would be leading in a poll. That's crazy. A poll in Alaska, of course. However, it was the same polling average, like 3 points for Biden in 2016. Same points for Hillary. That was the 14. So, but it was polling 3 points more. I'm stuttering so much. I'm so sorry. Let's just redo that real quick. It was polling close in 2016, but went to Trump by almost a safe margin, in my calculations. But it's doing the same thing this time, where Biden's polling better than Hillary. So I think it might narrow down to 10% or under, which is a likely characterization for me. Here we go. On to the next state. Sorry, Arizona. Today there's a new poll coming out. You can see how it's been narrowing up. Trump was ahead by 3.9 points in February. I didn't even know that. I thought he was still below. Then there was a poll where Biden probably led here, and it narrowed down to 2.4 points. And then it just got so narrow that Biden won in another poll, and now he's winning by 0.1 on March 8th. That's the slowest amount you can win by in this website. Then it just goes up and up and up and up and up. And then it starts going down and down and down. But then here, this is May 28th, around where George Floyd died. You can see how it started to unnarrow. This is almost 5 points for Arizona, a state that's almost safely went to Mitt Romney in almost every election since 1992. It's been narrowing up since 2016, where I believe, or 2018, where I believe they elected a Democratic senator. Speaking of senators, I'm going to make a Senate video, especially since a ton of those news polls came out today. But yeah, you can see how after it starts to get to July, we're like, okay, this is, I believe, when around Trump had a rally here, and he cleared up some stuff, and it started to narrow up again, as you can see. But then it both went up. But then there's a new poll today. You can just now see how a poll can affect the averages. So it might not be the most accurate, but this was pretty accurate in 2016. The only states that were wrong were the Rust Belt states, I think. Maybe Florida. I doubt it, because Florida was polling for Trump on election day. But Arizona, 28th, 3.9 points. That is a lean Democratic state in my characterizations. Arkansas, there's only been one poll where it's +2 for Trump, but it went to Trump for a lot in 2016. There's no way no way Biden flipped over 20% of the state. That's over a fifth of the entire state. So we're going to put it as likely, even though it's a tilt state, technically. California, look at that. We don't even need to talk about California. Highly Democratic, one of the most Democratic states in the country, like top 3. I believe top 3 are California. Top 4 are California, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maryland. Maryland is my home state, by the way. Today, it narrowed up. Actually, it didn't narrow up. Actually, apparently. Sorry. No, it's the same as it was yesterday, but there was a poll where the last poll in Colorado was Biden leading by 17 points. That's insane. Now he's leading by 13 in the newest poll, but on average, he's leading by rounding up to 15 points. That's enough to make Colorado a safe state. Keep in mind, Hillary won that state by, I believe, around 5 points in 2016. Connecticut, we don't need to talk about. Just reliable polling. The only person that was doing not that good there was actually Sanders and Buttigieg. Even though Connecticut's a very, very nice state. It's very gay friendly. Very gay friendly. There's pride flags everywhere. Actually, you know what? When I went there, it was in June, and I think that's Pride Month. So I don't know if it's usually like that, but it's a very kind state. You guys should try going there sometime if you live around there. But again, safe blue state, at least for the next decade. Delaware, very, very interesting. Biden's technically birth state of Delaware, I think. No. This is where he served as a senator. You can see how, like, Delaware's always been a safe state for the blue team, the Democrats. But now you can see how well Biden was doing because he served there. He served Delaware. He was a representative there. People know him. They like him. But you can see Bloomberg, Sanders leading by 1 point. That's insane. I don't know what they were doing wrong, but that's a B-rated poll right there. I guess BC would be like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna discontinue that sentence. But you can see 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, probably because they're gay friendly. Buttigieg was doing the second best there, and I believe this was polled right before the primaries. Buttigieg was actually doing pretty well. This was right before they all dropped out, except for Sanders and Biden. Sanders, beginning of April, dropped out. I mean, he actually could have lost Delaware. He probably would have lost Delaware, according to this poll, if coronavirus didn't happen. But you can see how there was no poll over 50%, over half the state, except for Biden. He has a lot of history in Delaware, and that's why I will keep it as a safe blue state. But no, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it as a likely state. It's more of a just-in-case thing, because we can definitely expect states to narrow up. I would be surprised if they didn't. Florida. Oh, wow, okay. It narrowed up a little bit more today, because there was a poll where Biden was leading by like 3. But still enough to categorize it as likely. That's huge for Florida. That's the state Trump needs to win. If he loses Florida, he loses everything. If he loses Texas, like a poll was showing today, he loses absolutely everything. He can literally just flip the state of Texas. Biden could literally just flip Texas and win the election, as long as he carries the other states. But we'll get to Texas later. DC went to DC is the most democratic area in the country and probably the entire world. It's a safe blue state. It's not a state. It's a safe blue district, I guess. But it is worth electoral votes. And they're even redoing the anniversary march of Martin Luther King this next month, technically. I'm going there. It's very democratic. It went to Hillary by over 90%. That's insane. 90. But Georgia today, it narrowed up a little bit more, because Biden was leading in a poll. It narrowed up by 0.7 points. There was a point where Biden was leading here for, what about June 15th? For about a month, he was leading, but he was trailing. He was trailing from March to June, basically. And then, yeah, this is where it narrowed up and then went to Biden for like a month. And then Trump is so slightly, like, look how little that is. That's what she said. But yeah, Georgia is a lean Democratic state, because remember, we're not doing tilt states. Oh, not lean Democratic, lean Republican. Here we can see Hawaii, Idaho, and Illinois. Hawaii, Idaho, and Illinois. They're all safe states for their associated party, as they went in 2016. Like the past 5 elections they've all done. Idaho, don't expect to change anytime soon. Same with Illinois and Hawaii. Idaho and Hawaii's also Hawaii's one of the top 5 Democratic states as well. Idaho is one of the top Republican states. So we fill in those there. Indiana. Trump plus 10, plus 13. Vice President Mike Pence's home state. That's a safe state. It's a safe state. People are saying it's likely, because some people do. Okay, well, Trump can flip the state 15% in the next 100 days. No, that's not going to happen. Neither can Biden. Can't do much better than he's doing already. Oh, and Iowa, that's crazy. 0.2% for Trump. That state went to Trump by almost 9%, actually. But it's only a lean Republican state right now. It was a likely or safe then. Kansas, yeah, again, here I think there was a close poll in February where it was like Biden trailing Trump by 7 points. Then there was a new poll that came out. There is a close Democratic state right now, and a Democratic senator could really help the representation of Democrats in Kansas, and Kansas is a shifting demographic state. You could very well see in the next 2 decades Kansas going blue. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think it will, but it could. It really easily could. Especially if it stays like this and went to Trump by 20 points. He's halved it. Biden's literally halved it. If he picks a good VP, he can bring it down to 7 points where it was in March. And keep in mind, March was before the coronavirus, right before. But as of now, Kansas is a safe Republican state. Kentucky, we're not going to talk about because it's a safe Republican state. It's over 20 points for him right now. What state did I just skip? I think it was Louisiana. Louisiana is a large black population with a lot of Democrats, suppressed voters, just like Mississippi. I'm going to put it, and it has no polling yet, though, so I'm going to put it as a likely. It will likely go to Trump. Very, very likely. Just not technically enough for me to say it's going to Trump by this much. So, yeah. And Maine been polling 10 points, even for Sanders. Oh, wait. There was Maine 2nd District. There was one where he was leading. Oh, there was a lot of polls for Maine 2nd District. Oh, you see Maine's 1st District, plus 20 points for all of these, too. Yeah, almost 10 points for every poll for the Democrats in Maine. That's enough for me. And, yeah, it's a lean red for the 2nd District. If you didn't know, Maine and Nebraska split their districts between electoral votes, so it's more fair and democratic. Democracy, yeah. My home state of Maryland, it's just looking all blue. It's blue balling me right here. It's safe blue. You can never expect Maryland to go Republican for a long, long time. Same with Massachusetts. There was a new poll today. I don't know why it narrowed. It looks like it narrowed up a lot more than it did, but you can see both sides went down a little bit. Because, look at this. This was before the independents were declared and Kanye West was running. Trump 33%, Biden plus 67. It was a plus 34 for Biden. It's still about the same as it was in the new poll. But look how much undecided there is. 55 plus 23 is 78. There's 22% undecided, almost as much as Trump supporters are undecided in Massachusetts. Since the last poll, Trump's lost about 10 points and Biden's lost about 12, but Biden's leading about the same amount. So it's weird how much the independent voters can change an election. If you didn't know, if there was no independents, most independents lean towards the Democrats. If all the independents, or if most of the independents were to the Democrats, the entire Rust Belt, and I think maybe even Florida and Arizona, would have gone to Hillary. She would be president right now, as we speak. But, yep, Massachusetts, safe Democratic. Minnesota, it narrowed up a lot today. Actually, it didn't as much as I thought, but it's been close. It's been close. It's not as close. It's only half as close as it was in May. I think that was the first poll that they did for 2020. But you can see that Bam, difference, 4 points, because there was one where he was leading by, where Minnesota was leading Biden by 15%. Now it's only 10%. There was a poll where he was leading by 5, and one today where he was leading by 3. It's kind of narrowing up a little bit, but you know what? I'm keeping it as a likely state. It's under my likely percentage points anyway. Mississippi, you can see Trump plus 10, but we can expect that to narrow up. You can expect to see the Republican states narrow up towards November, and the Democratic states narrow up towards November, and the swing states narrow up towards Trump in November, because Biden's at his prime right now. And like the Sun Belt, like New Mexico, Arizona, California, Texas, these kind of states right here, that's called the Sun Belt. A lot of these states are trending Democratic. Georgia went to Trump by 5 points. Now, in the latest poll, Biden's leading by like 2 or 3 points, I think. Texas, Biden by 2 points. A state that Trump almost won by 10%. That's a safe margin. That's insane. But yeah, Mississippi will put as a likely state, and you know what? Louisiana, I'm going to put as a safe. It's going to narrow up. But it's not a prediction, though. It's based on polls, so I will keep it here. Missouri, oh boy, Missouri. Trump leading by 5.3, not even rounds up the 6 points, which 6.5 rounds up to likely for me. Missouri, there was a point where Biden was leading by 2% here. But that's insane. But keep in mind, Obama almost won the state in 2008 when he first ran. And Biden's got that same minority voter stamina that Obama had in 2008, and that's very important. It's very important. So you can expect to see Missouri narrow up even more. It could be even a tilt state. But remember, I don't do that. Montana, I believe, yep. It's a likely state for Trump. Last time it went blue was Bill Clinton, I believe, in 1992. I think it went in 1996 too, I'm not sure. But Montana, the House could actually go blue this year. In the latest poll, it's going blue. There's a close Senate race. And it just looks like there's going to be more blue representatives in that state. It could really shift the whole country. Not just Montana, but the country as a whole. If Biden wins this election, his VP will most likely be the next president of the United States. Unless maybe Larry Hogan from Maryland, or Bush runs again, like he did in 2016. I forgot. Jeb Bush, maybe? I'm sorry, I don't remember. I was like 10 years old. But yeah. We just did that state. Nebraska, there is no polling. Not really, anyway. Not whole state polling. It's just where Biden's leading by a likely margin, which we'll put on the map in a second. Here we go, and we can expect the whole state to be safe for Trump. As well, South Dakota, which doesn't have a poll. Not Oklahoma yet. We can also expect Rhode Island, that doesn't have a poll, to go to Biden by a safe margin or likely margin. We can expect Vermont to go to him definitely by a safe margin. That's, again, one of the top Democratic states. But those are all states without polls, I believe. So we just finished those now. Nevada, Biden leading about 7 points here. That's a likely state. We can very well see this happen. Oh, Oregon went to Hillary by around a safe margin, but again, you can expect the state to narrow up, especially since it's trending red recently. Yeah. But yeah, Nevada and Oregon both are likely. Oh, wrong thing. New Hampshire. It's almost 8 points. Literally 8 points. It's insanely safe. It's not insanely safe. I don't know why I said that. It's leaning more Republican recently, but it's kind of setting back because of the Trump stuff going on. 21% for New Jersey. We're not going to talk about that. 14 points for New Mexico, safe. New York is safe. North Carolina is a 2.4 for Biden. That's enough to make it a lean state. There's a poll today where he's leading by 7 points. So that's kind of what made him go up by 0.2 in the past day. We'll fill in New York. North Carolina, lean blue. North Dakota, plus 25 and plus 17. North Dakota is a safe red state. Along with Wyoming, again, which doesn't have polls. I thought I did all of them, but I know that state does not have any polls. But it went to Trump by 45%. That's like the DC version of Democrats of Republicans for Democrats. That's a tight race. That is very tight. There was a poll today, the last 3 polls, Biden was losing in. That's Biden leading by 0.1%. He was leading by over 1 point. He was leading by almost 1.5% yesterday, but it narrowed up since. But yeah, I'm putting it as a lean red because it's going to keep doing the same thing. It's going to narrow up. And almost no Republican has ever won the election without that. So, without Ohio. We're skipping Oklahoma. We're just going to fill it in as red in a second. Pennsylvania, 7 points. Went up from yesterday. From 6.7, went up 0.3 today for Biden. You can just see how he's just expanding it. Trump has never led here, even before the coronavirus. I don't think he can. I don't think he will win Pennsylvania. It just won't happen. It's a likely blue state, according to polling. Oh, and we'll fill in that as a safe. South Carolina. About 8 points for Trump. It's ridiculous. I think it went to him by over a safe margin last time. It's part of the Sun Belt, which is rapidly going more Democratic, but it's a likely Republican state. It's not even 10% for Trump. Tennessee, 11.4. It's about safe. I mean, it's closer than Republicans would like. It's not trending blue. I don't care what anyone says. It's Tennessee. It'll go red for a long time. Unless it's a Ronald Reagan situation for the Democrats, like Jimmy Carter for his first term. Who's ahead in Texas? Biden by almost a full percentage point. That is ridiculous. Again, like I said earlier, about 10% Trump almost won it by. But it's actually, that is insane. I cannot believe this. Well, I can. It's growing more Democratic so fast. And again, if Trump loses it, he loses the election. If he loses Texas, he's losing Florida, North Carolina, maybe Georgia, definitely Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, Arizona. It's just, he's losing everything if this happens. Except for, like, these states and stuff. West Virginia will fill in as a safe red state. I'm not going to go back to the polls. I can just say what happened because I remember everything else from today. Washington over 20 points for Biden. Utah less than, I believe, 7 points for Trump. But it's in Utah. They just didn't. A lot of them didn't vote for Trump in 2016, and they're kind of keeping that same mindset that they did because Gary Johnson, Mormon from, I believe, Utah, got almost as much votes as Hillary did, like 20-something%. So it's weird. Michigan, actually, we will look at Michigan. I think we skipped it, actually. Okay. Almost 8 points. That's ridiculous. Biden has officially, again, hit the 50-point mark. that makes it a likely state, almost 8 points. Wisconsin. Didn't narrow up today. There was a time... Yeah, there was a poll where Trump was leading, but that's from Bryce Strategies. Don't expect that to happen. This is a likely blue state. It went to Trump by, I believe, 0.7 points. And Michigan to Trump by 0.2 points. If you don't think Biden is going to flip 0.3% of Michigan, then you've got problems. No offense. I don't like any of these candidates. I'm not being biased. Trump's not going to win Michigan. I almost want to put it as a safe state, but I can't. Every poll in the entire election has had Virginia, Colorado, New Mexico all up by 10 points. That's a safe margin. You don't expect these states at all to go for Trump. I just don't see it. Let me screenshot this real quick because this will be my thumbnail. Here we go. But yeah, that's the video. That's the polling. I'll do one of these maybe once or twice a month. I'm going to start making more types of videos too. But I'm getting pretty good views and I'm getting subs. This is helping a lot, and this is something I truly enjoy. I really enjoy politics. It's very entertaining for me, and it's something that we need to focus on, especially this year. This could be the election of your life. Make sure to vote if you're eligible to vote, of course. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Sub.